If you don't know what it is I'm reviewing today, well, look at the frigging title. Today, I'll be showing you and speaking for a few minutes about March of the Eagles, Paradox Studios' new grand strategy sandbox pausable thing, whatever they call it. First thing is that there seem to be a few great improvements over previous titles. Firstly, there seems to be a much better system of NPC countries accepting peace. Long gone are the days of needing 70% war score to get console defeat, or whatever they call it, code defeat. Getting sidetracked. Long gone are the days in which taking one province would require 90%, and the days of controlling every province but one and having 60%. It seems generally that the peace and the war score has been overhauled, especially from EU3, which is what this game clearly inherits a lot of its systems from. If you didn't like EU3, certainly wasn't my favourite was Victoria 2, yeah, Victoria, you will enjoy some aspects of this game nevertheless, because a lot of the problems from EU3 are gone. As a fan of the genre for quite some time, and specifically Paradox Interactive, this seems as a more different approach. It's best compared to Sengoku, if you've played that. It's basically this, but in Japan, except this is more updated and generally better than Sengoku, actually. In Sengoku, you had a short amount of time to lead your clan to take over 50% of Japan and win. It's similar here. Instead of really going about doing whatever you like, you can win the game by controlling certain provinces that you as a country are given. So for instance, playing as Russia, you'll have to take different provinces to playing as Prussia. You have to be more dominant, control more of these, than any other great power to win at the end. The maps of all of Europe, as you can almost see, there's the bottom of it, and there's the top. I should add now that it's set during the Napoleonic Wars, so you'll be having coalitions, Sweden as an empire for its time. Easy countries to play is probably Russia and maybe Austria. Austria seems to do good against the Ottomans. Deals like that. Now obviously, being based only in Europe, there is the idea of it being unfair to some countries like Great Britain, which control a lot of territory in places like India, but they do get bonuses that last the entire game based on what they had. So Spain gets a bonus for controlling places in the Americas, like Cuba, which it controlled historically at this point, and things like that. I've got to say though, that all the positives, the lovely graphics, the great AI, the fact that the armies have more variety and choice, and that forgot to mention this, sorry, I'm not very organised as you can tell. Your war score is dependent on certain provinces that control the surrounding areas. Like in the World War II games that Paradox released, if you walk through a province you take it instantly. Except for these city provinces they're called, that if you go to, you have to besiege to take. They're the only ones that affect your war score, and they're the only ones that you can take. But you can take them in a piece and they'll give you the surrounding areas. So for instance, if I took the Paris one from France, I'd take maybe 6, 7, 8 provinces from them as well. Really like this system because it gives an historical insight into what the Napoleonic Wars were like. Pretty much like that. There are elements of it that aren't so great though. First of all, the choice is disappointing, because playing as a country that isn't one of the 8 major powers means that you can't necessarily win the game on your own. Also, countries like France are disappointingly unexciting to play as, the same with Britain. Russia and Spain I more enjoy. I've only had a few hours to play it so far, so I wouldn't be able to tell you about the rest. But you can play as all of them. There is also some set things that are very likely to happen, like Britain and Russia forming a coalition against France, but by the end things will be different. Sorry. So, the tactics seem to work good, the graphics is improved, but what's really the meat of the game? I think it's lost what the other games seem to achieve, a sense of building up your empire. It's not necessarily building up an empire, because you start off with most of the stuff you had at the end. You'll just have more provinces, and that's... You don't seem to really start off at the bottom. No matter who you pick, you'll have organised, strong armies that don't really increase in size that much. Whereas in games like Victoria 2, as you took over more provinces, you were training more troops based on the limits. Here it takes the EU3 system of troops and training units, which I didn't like as much. And a lot of it is taken from EU3, so if you want a game halfway between EU3 and Sengoku, this is what you want. Otherwise you may not enjoy it as much. In the end, I'm going to have to give it, out of 10, a 7. Not the best game, but very good. And a special thing that I do, the anger meter. The anger meter is how frustrating the game is. I'm going to give it on the anger meter a 3, because it's not very frustrating, but it can be annoying. So that's March of the Eagles. In the comments, if you'd like to discuss how good the game is, disagree with me or agree with me, please do. In the meantime, Restef out.